5 ways to improve your kicks. Way ahead of you, mate.
I have proposed on this channel numerous times that we need to re-examine our definitions of fitness. Too many people will focus on only 1 or 2 aspects of fitness when training.
A tear just fell from my eye. Someone get me the Kleenex for the tear.
It comes from a lack of knowledge, a desire to be the best in a specific domain, or a tribalism that keeps them wed to a single system.
Cross-training with multiple disciplines, ignoring the tribalism in fitness. Messages that I also promote
numerous times
in this channel in relation to fitness concepts. And this is literally the only clip ever where I will not make fun out of someone jumping over a bin.
Because his video was ducking sensational.
Here is younger, more moisturized me. Also relates to the idea of cross-training. If you're looking in their video, it's not just resistance training. He's also performing running, and I love the idea of performing multiple disciplines. However, I frequently cross-train. I love cross-training. I find that different forms of physical activity keep me looking young and keep my hair bouncy. Welcome to the Positive Message Health playlist. My intention with these videos is not to make you go and follow channels or to tell you who to like or dislike. It is simply that there is a strong positive fitness message within a video or videos from another channel that I want to communicate to this community, as I think it could be very productive. And in this video, I'm highlighting the best fitness video that I've seen this year.
The next question is, what are these different aspects that we need to train? How do we define them? I've compiled a list of what I believe to be the pillars of fitness and performance. Agility is a combination of strength, speed and mobility, but combined with grace born from proprioception, balance and posture.
Meet the Bioneer. I enjoy comic books, working out, computer games, travel, and sandwiches. And so funnily enough, he is from the same place as me in the UK, and we are around the same age. I clearly aged better. And this young lady is also from Bournemouth, so pipe down, or I will do the hand thing on you. And I can finally get some sleep. These wrinkles need some rest. The amount of comments I've got about this guy. Basically, I wake up, comb my hair, read Bioneer messages, and repeat.
You might laugh at the person who learns to juggle to supplement their fitness training. When will they ever need that kind of hand-eye coordination? Well, they won't, until they do. And they're no less likely to need that skill than they are to be able to squat 250 kilograms.
And so he makes videos in a different style to other channels. Physical fitness, science, technology, psychology, martial arts, and other issues. Rope climbing at home, wrist and little finger strength. He's just doing it for the views. And he made this recent video which nails such a vital aspect of fitness and health. Pillars of fitness. Sounds a bit like an Elliot Halsey book. Don't make me breathe through my balls. Types of fitness everyone should train for.
But simply being able to squat and deadlift huge amounts of weight is not fitness, nor is it the be-all and end-all of leg strength. How about single leg strength? How about rotation? After a certain point, adding more and more weight causes more issues in other aspects of your fitness. Just as there is more to strength than squatting, strength itself is not the ultimate expression of fitness and performance.
As I've said before on this channel, there are certain specialisms or sports which are projected as fitness, and we've seen throughout the years in magazines or websites or popular YouTube channels involving people who are elite in these specialisms. Now, I'm not demeaning those disciplines at all. Those areas require a great amount of discipline, work, consistency, but those are specific sports, specialisms, and in many cases they are elite pursuits of certain attributes, for example, powerlifting and strength. They represent elements of fitness, but when we think about fitness and health on a wider scope to a wider population base, when we think of movement, strength, mobility, flexibility, proprioception, reaction time, speed, power, endurance, the list goes on and on. Perhaps we have to cast the net wider to what fitness and health really is.
Many others equate fitness to cardiovascular endurance. Fit to them means being able to run long distances without throwing up. They lose mass and size, they lose the ability to move explosively, and they miss out on opportunities to explore the full range of motion their bodies are capable of. Again, I want to reiterate here that this makes sense if you're an endurance athlete, if that's your career, but for the rest of us, focusing on just one single area of fitness like this just doesn't make sense.
And I made a video on the buff dudes, and one factor that I focused on was the buff dudes who were very much traditional resistance trainers, taking up running as that was a weakness, and they took that up as a form of branching out into other disciplines, and how great it was to see that. And so it's the reverse scenario of the Bioneer's example, but it's the same point. We can class this, if you like, as holistic fitness development. And I've made videos on different areas such as climbing. There's so much that goes into this, and it's highly impressive. The Pablo Escobar pre-workout is also clearly working.
What about quick decision making and general cognitive performance? The athlete who wins a contest is rarely the one who is strongest or fastest or most endurant. More important is how they are able to apply those traits on the day, by remaining focused, motivated and calm.
And so with cognitive performance, this is not my area, so I'm just going to leave his clip for you, but I am aware of different models into cognitive performance, and it's a highly interesting area to explore in a fitness channel.
How about bringing all of that together into one beautiful ensemble? A symphony of strength, agility, quickness, decision-making and explosive power.
And so we can think about a transfer of attributes here. When you train for certain attributes, how does that translate to the daily physical challenges in your life? This video is intended to project what health and fitness is beyond what we commonly see as a path to an aesthetic. And health and fitness is related to longevity, for enjoyment, for preparing you for daily physical challenges, for preparing you for potential emergency situations, and of course to decrease the risk of disease. And that discipline that we get from an exercise program can also translate to other parts of your life. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How can we work on our weak points? How can we then, after doing these tests, alter our yearly training to try and become more well-rounded?
The next question is, what are these different aspects that we need to train? How do we define them? I've compiled a list of what I believe to be the pillars of fitness and performance. This is by no means a comprehensive list, but rather just a starting point and hopefully the start of a conversation. These are the basics that I think everyone should consider training.
And so here are his pillars of fitness, and I'm basically just going to play his clips because they really do speak for themselves.
Strength. Strength is the ability to exert force on the environment. This could be to move an object, to move yourself, to break an object apart, or to prevent movement. Strength can further be broken down into subtypes. Max strength is the peak output you're capable of exerting, often measured by your 1 rep maxes. Explosiveness is the amount of strength you can exert quickly, also known as rate of force production. Explosiveness makes for powerful punches and explosive vertical jumps. To be useful, strength should be accessible on any vector. It's not just enough to be strong in a constrained movement pattern like the squat or the deadlift. Rather, you should be strong when pushing horizontally from an upright stance, strong in the transverse plane, and strong in unbalanced unilateral movements.
And again, planes of motion, something that I've touched on in this channel, and this communication is just excellent. Resistance training and different applications of strength, of course, are vital.
This is how the real world demands us to be strong, whether loading a boot, moving furniture, or wrestling an opponent.
Or all three at the same time.
Speed.
Decent film.
Speed is the ability to move quickly from one point to another.
Or that. Look at that, Tash. Sorry I had to. It's like if the Chuckle brothers could fight.
Movement speed, which includes acceleration, deceleration, lateral speed and linear speed, as well as direction changes.
And I made a video on the WWE and training, and I touched on the speed ladder as one tool of training that people may not incorporate, which they may think about.
Quickness or limb speed, and reflexes. Speed is a combination of rate of force production, explosiveness, along with efficient movement and neural drive.
My real life example was way more accurate than his though.
The goal here is to be able to run quickly when you need to, which could genuinely save your life.
Does also have applications to your everyday life. For example, when you spot that person down the high street that you don't want to talk to and you do a quick 180. How does your training transfer to a potential emergency situation? This is something I've covered on my channel also. And the example I like to give is, can you pull your own weight? In an emergency situation, could you pull your own body weight? And this could be, for example, a pull-up motion. But the idea on a deeper level is something that I've also liked to project.
You should be fast in a variety of environments too, whether swimming or running uphill or across uneven terrain. And that quickness should extend to smaller movements, whether throwing a punch, catching a ball or ducking. Endurance. Endurance represents your ability to continue to express strength and speed for long duration. In a real-world setting, it's rare that you're ever required to perform a single feat of incredible strength. Far more often, you're required to exert that strength for a significant duration.
Endurance, and so the application here is muscular endurance, and I defined muscular endurance in a recent video, and I don't remember which one, and if you do know which video I talked about that in, you need to get out more. Joking, thank you so much for watching my videos. Muscular endurance, of course, the repeated contraction of muscles over time.
Carrying heavy objects long distances is more useful than lifting extremely heavy objects a single time. Aerobic endurance is the ability to run, walk or row long distances at sub-maximal exertion.
Farmer's walks, one of my favourite exercises. The scientific definition for the farmer's walk is a worldie of an exercise.
This is the low intensity, steady state cardio you experience on a 10k run.
And so in my Eddie Hall video I explain the aerobic threshold, and so I love how here he goes into different energy systems. Concepts such as the aerobic threshold, heart rate, intensity, intervals and anaerobic pathways of producing energy are therefore required required. We can think about different types of fitness, different energy systems, the more explosive anaerobic energy systems for sprinting, for example, power activities versus the more aerobic, more endurance-based energy systems. How does the training you do translate to those energy systems?
Agility. Agility is a combination of strength, speed and mobility, but combined with grace born from proprioception, balance and posture.
Agility involves changing direction quickly. Essentially, it's a component of athletic performance, and it involves many other attributes such as balance and coordination, and it's something that you may want to think about incorporating into your training program.
This allows us to leap high into the air, balance along thin beams and contort our bodies in midair. So we must also train for that balance, that fine motor control and that coordination. We can do this with more ambitious calisthenics, gymnastic strength training, yoga and countless other protocols.
And again, this is just excellent communication. I've made videos on several calisthenic channels recently, and part of the reason for me doing this was to project some of the great ideas and attributes that can come through calisthenic training, gymnastic training.
Mobility and agility matter in everyday life because it prevents injury, giving us control and end ranges of motion, allowing us to save a bad landing or to right ourselves when we start to fall. And simply by gaining more range of motion and control in these positions, you'll be able to reduce tightness and discomfort. Cognitive function. Few people realise that they can train their brain just as they can train their body.
Training the mind, a highly interesting idea.
Their habits and career shape brain regions and the connections between them via neuroplasticity. Even fewer people make this training part of their routine. But training the mind is what would ultimately lead to the most tangible rewards for most of us.
There's a recent podcast by Rich Roll with Dr. Andrew Huberman, which I listened to, which also applies to these issues. And so again, this is not something that I can talk on in depth as it's not my area, but this is a highly interesting communication in his channel, in this video. And let's be honest, it's something that's massively lacking from YouTube fitness as a whole. And so he raises more issues than that, but I think I've given you an idea from what I've shown you as to his projection.
Just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who supports the channel, who watches, who comments, who likes. I'm humbled by it and I can't thank you enough, and I appreciate every single one of you.
Commonly, people focus on, for example, muscle growth and fat loss, perhaps strength gains, which are all good and valid goals, of course. However, perhaps there is a need for us to think about further fitness and health related attributes that we can develop.